Yeah, Jen, tonight the school board discussed the superintendent's evaluation, optional vaccinations for students, recap the upcoming deadline for second semester learning environments, and to start the meeting, the new District 3 representative was sworn in. Tracy Winters was selected to fill the District 3 seat, replacing her late husband, Ray Winters. After swearing in her oath standing next to her mom and her daughter, Winters took her seat to participate in her first Horry County School Board meeting. As the District 3 seat, she'll be representing Carolina Forest and Myrtle Beach. Along with inducting Winters to the school board, they spent time in a private executive session to review Dr. Rick Maxey's performance in an annual superintendent evaluation.
View of the information provided by Dr. Maxey, he continues to be in compliance with our expectations. The Horry County Board of Education would like to state Dr. Maxey's job performance as superintendent as highly effective. The board feels the district continues to perform well in achievement and is headed in the right direction under the leadership, character, and clear vision of Dr. Rick Maxey as our superintendent.
According to the board, they say they're all pleased with Dr. Maxey's work and thanked him for his work during what they say are tremendously challenging circumstances. The board unanimously voted to amend the superintendent's current contract. Those amendments include giving him a pay raise to $260,000, an increase to a $1,000 a month automobile allowance, a 15% increase in the district's contribution to the superintendent's annuity, and extending his contract for more than 1 year. This will keep Dr. Maxey in the superintendent's seat until June 30th, 2025. Superintendent Maxey addressed the continuing decline in positive COVID cases in Horry County schools after a presentation on vaccination opportunities for students.
Fourth week now of under 100 as far as positive cases go. And we're certainly would like to see that zero, but we're very pleased with that fact. The numbers seem to have plateaued, if you will, under 100.
Starting tomorrow, there'll be 4 different COVID-19 vaccination locations available to students, staff, and the community. Vaccinations are optional for students, and anyone ages 5 and up are able to receive a shot. No appointments or registration is required, but a parent or guardian must be present according to the board. The locations and dates to get the vaccine are November 16th and December 7th at Burgess or Daisy Elementary, or they can go to Carolina Forest or Conway Elementary on November 17th or December 8th. December 8th is also an important date for Horry County schools as well. According to the board's timeline, the one that you can see right here behind me, the deadline for parents to make the permanent decision if they'd like their child learning in person or online for second semester is December 8th. The board says if your child is already in the learning environment that you'd like them to be in, you don't need to take any further action. But if you're wanting to switch where they're learning, you'll need to register them.
Jennifer, Lisa McCall says she was just about to walk outside her house when she saw a herd of cattle in her backyard. So she quickly slammed the door and rushed to find her cell phone. Lisa McCall shot this video of cows in her backyard around midnight Sunday.
I opened my door to let my dog out to use the bathroom. And when I opened the door, I seen like 20 cows looking up at me.
So she called 911.
When I called 911, they was like, don't go back outside because those cows could chase you. And so I stayed in the house.
The Darlington County 911 director tells me they got several calls that day about the cows in the road. Highway Patrol and the Darlington County Sheriff's Office responded, as well as the owner. You can see a trooper in the video trying to rustle up the cattle to get them out of the road. McCall says she feared a car would hit them.
They had to stop the traffic on the highway. They had sheriffs on one side of the highway and 2 state troopers on the right side of the highway for cars wouldn't come up or down.
We just told you last week about a pig that blocked a York County road. Highway Patrol says because majority of the state is rural, you could encounter livestock or other animals on the road. And if you do, slow down. Use your eyes. Be mindful of peak areas and times. Don't tailgate. Use your brights. Remember, deer or cattle travel in herds. Use the center lane. Blow your horn. Always scan ahead while driving and at a speed that will allow you to make the correct evasive move. Lisa McCall says the cows did damage her car parked in the yard. She's just thankful no one was hurt.
Especially coming down that highway, cars come up and down 52. I'm surprised, no car hit one of them.
Highway Patrol says the cows came from a nearby pasture. We reached out to the owner, but he hasn't returned our phone calls.
Yeah, Jen, well, FEMA could overhaul its floodplain management, land use regulations, and incentives. That could trickle down to how insurance premiums are handled. Now, for counties like Horry that are ahead of the game, it could mean homeowners pay less for their flood insurance, but it could also mean that more people here locally will need to start shopping around for flood insurance.
Send FEMA your story.
Advocates for the environment and for flood survivors want a flood of comments sent to FEMA.
So this is really an opportunity for your stories to be heard.
That's because FEMA, on the heels of overhauling the flood risk program for insurance, also wants to see if changes need to come to regulating construction in flood zones. That leads to those increased costs to cover flood damage.
FEMA will gather stakeholder input to inform potential revisions that make communities more resilient, protect species and habitat, and reduce disaster suffering.
What is built in flood areas, to how high critical facilities are built near flood zones, also the public disclosure of repeatedly flooded properties. Those are a few land use requests that groups like Horry County Rising want FEMA to mandate.
We want to just really be careful about what types of capital investments we're moving in these areas.
Also, how that will impact the broader pot of policyholders. You see, counties help homeowners save money when they adopt FEMA's land use regulation in flood-prone areas. Some say the regulations are outdated, like April O'Leary, who's a flood victim and advocate. She says while locally we may be ahead of FEMA, the potential revisions would bring our neighbors up to speed.
What happens upstream from Horry County really does affect all of us downstream. So obviously these national standards and measures would have a great benefit because it's really a watershed approach because you're addressing it nationwide.
There's also the matter of recovering from floods as well. Advocates want FEMA to look at increasing the cost to helping homeowners when insurance payouts aren't enough to give them more funding, in fact, as well as looking at the buyout program through FEMA, bolstering it, making it more attractive for families that are at risk.
Coming over here, and we're going to talk to Doug, the program director. So talk about this program and what it is that you guys do and teach.
Okay, we have a 4-week class that's 160 hours, and we have 4 students per instructor. We have 2 instructors, and we're going to 3 pretty soon, so we'll have 12 students per month, and we have a weekend class that's 8 weeks long, and we have 8 students on the weekend classes right now, and it's also 160 hours, but it takes us 8 weeks to do it because they're just coming on the weekends.
Okay, so you can kind of do it split in half, but otherwise 4 weeks you come and you learn how to drive. And
right.
From what I understand, there's a lot of jobs out there.
If you go to the school and 4 weeks later you can have a job on the day you come out of school.
Yeah, and you guys work too to set people up and get them into the workforce.
Right, and we have recruiters that come from several different companies that come throughout the course and talk with the students and try to get them to sign up with them and pitch their company to the students during the course. So if they want a job with one of those recruiters, they can sign up with them right then.
Yeah, and speaking of students, we actually have students in here right now because you also teach driving at night. So,
yep.
That way they kind of get all the experience they need before they get out on the road. And, there's a shortage right now, and people are waiting on stuff, getting delayed. So you guys helping out to fill some of these positions, especially going into the holidays.
Right. Yeah, we do, and a lot of the students will come that want to drive over the road, which would be with the larger carriers, and some of them want to just drive locally, just driving dump trucks or with the local carrier, and so we try to teach the students and not only teach them how to drive the truck, but to find a job that's suitable to what their lifestyle is.
Sure. So if you don't want to travel across the country, then you can stay here locally, or if you do, then you can just go see and explore and get paid for it.
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, looking forward to learning a little bit about this, and I don't know, maybe even get behind the wheel.